Coming up on Global Business, robots at the ready. The 2026 World Robot Conference kicks off in Beijing, and we find out what's on the show. Tech bets. Global investors increasing their exposure to Chinese tech assets through ETFs as part of their long-term positioning strategy. AI focus. The European Union is intensifying efforts to become a global leader in artificial intelligence with billions in planned investment. Well, it's good evening from Beijing and welcome to this edition of Global Business on CGTN. I'm Lily Lu. The 2026 World Robot Conference opened in Beijing today with more than 3,000 exhibits and over 300 new products under the theme Human-Robot Symbiosis, Production Demand Convergence. The 5-day event brings together more than 300 exhibitors and 69% increase from last year across 4 pavilions that cover robotics applications in manufacturing, healthcare, retail, and emergency rescue. The conference also launches a global program to lend mass-produced products to innovation teams for free and opens a robot consumer street for visitors to enjoy interactive experience with tech, food, and culture. The race to commercialize robots is heating up in China, with companies taking every different approaches to what the robots of the future should look like. At this year's World Robot Conference in Beijing, our reporter Wang Tianyu takes us for a tour.
This is the biggest robot at this year's World Robot Conference, 5 meters high, standing perfectly still. But nobody here can really tell you what it actually does. And that's the exception now, because almost every exhibitor here, including this one, are trying to tell you what their machines can actually do.
We want to combine a general-purpose AI brain with biomimetic dexterous hands to create a truly general-purpose form of productivity. The goal is not task-specific robots, but truly general-purpose productivity.
Generality is what companies in the humanoid space are chasing, but some others believe non-human forms are what today's work really needs.
We're not going to make humanoids because everybody else is making humanoids. We're looking at the customer needs. We're looking at the market. So whatever that creates value for our customers, we'll develop it. Over the last 10 years, Yunji has been serving hotel clients. And that's why we are developing this custom-made model specifically serving the needs of hotel clients.
The 5-day event in Beijing has drawn over 300 companies showing more than 3,000 products, nearly 70% more exhibitors than last year. And the biggest change is it's not about how fancy or how human a robot looks. It's about whether it can actually clock in. Wang Tianyu, CGTN, Beijing.
While China's humanoid robots grab the global spotlight, its industrial robots are quietly gaining ground in overseas markets as well. In the first 7 months of this year, China's industrial robot exports surged over 13% on a yearly basis, building on momentum from 2025 when the country became a net exporter of industrial robots for the first time. The growth was largely driven by China's robust manufacturing capabilities and resilient domestic demand. And according to the International Federation of Robotics, China has remained the world's largest market and producer of industrial robots for years, with installations accounting for over half of the global total. The latest available data shows that China ranked as the world's 3rd largest industrial robot exporter in 2024, rapidly closing the gap with Japan and Germany. And since the start of the year, domestically built robots have been given a major opportunity to expand on a large scale in global markets. And notably, a dedicated customs tariff code for cleaning robots took effect in January, marking a significant step toward large-scale exports for the sector. As one of China's major hubs for foreign trade and smart equipment, Guangdong has seen its robot manufacturers lead the transition from sending out samples for trial use to fulfilling large-scale overseas orders. The momentum has remained strong in the second half of this year, with overseas orders continuing to grow. The surge in demand is turning domestically built robots into new growth engine for China's high-end equipment exporters.
Our overseas shipments are performing extremely well right now. Our cleaning robots are particularly popular in Europe, Japan, Republic of Korea, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. We have seen year-on-year doubling of growth compared with last year. We review production plans for the cleaning robots on a weekly and monthly basis, and shipping schedules are fully booked.
Robots can take over high-risk, high-pressure work, sustaining stable demand. Overseas orders are rising steadily, registering around 40% year-on-year growth. Order books stay firm for the second half of the year, with schedules running close to China's National Day.
And in Shanghai, robots have graduated from laboratory innovations from emerge as a driving force behind China's next wave of export growth. Take a look.
Do you still think robots are just playful companions that dance, run marathons, and practice Tai Chi? Overseas, Chinese robots have become synonymous with efficient production. Handling robots excel in service and construction industries. Maturely engineered cleaning robots are gaining traction in households worldwide. At one of Shanghai's little giant robotic tech firms, its lab tests the latest humanoid robots. Its lineup spanning delivery, cleaning, and humanoid robots operates in over 70 countries globally.
Overseas revenue accounts for over half of our total business. Our key markets lie in developed economies, including Europe, the US, Japan, and South Korea. We lead the global service robot sector with more than 20% of the market share, with our food delivery robots holding over 40%. Our diversified export portfolio benefits from Shanghai's smart tech industrial cluster, robust supply chains and geographic strengths, as well as our proprietary technology backed by over 1,100 patents.
And at Yangshan Port in Shanghai, Chinese-built robots are being shipped to Southeast Asia, Europe, and North America. And Shanghai Customs data shows robot exports through Shanghai Port hit over 8.3 billion yuan in the first 5 months of 2026, representing 42.5% of China's national total and topping all ports. Cleaning robots dominate exports with over 70%. Smart bionic robots registered 120 million yuan in exports, kicking off the first global commercial wave of lab-borne embodied intelligence.
China switched from a net importer to a net exporter of industrial robots in 2025, a shift clearly visible at ports. Vessel declarations show a marked rise in outbound containers. At Nangang Terminal, exports of robots and smart equipment have surged, far outstripping imports. This highlights high-value, tech-intensive domestic smart manufacturing goods emerging as a new pillar of China's foreign trade.
Recently, China's AGI Boat's G2 robot has got the CE certification in the EU and access approvals in the US. Unitree Robotics opens its ecosystem for overseas users' further development. And overseas expansion of Chinese robots goes beyond mere product sales, involving into deep ecological cooperation.
And Chinese robotics firm AGI is looking to expand its presence in the European market with its humanoid robots. Industry experts say that trust in the technology is building, and the potential for robotics to reshape retail and manufacturing across Europe is becoming increasingly clear. Michael Marilia reports from London.
These robots know how to party but pretty soon they'll all have to get a job. Chinese firm AGI builds these machines, which are driven by artificial intelligence.
It's like a person, when he grows in this country, when he grows in this factory, and he will be very familiar and adapted in this localized environment.
If European governments give the go-ahead, humanoid robots could eventually work in the home, helping with household tasks and even looking after children.
The humanoid robots develop so fast, and it can learn many things as we train them. So I think I'm very confident about the future. Yeah.
But most robots are made in China or the United States. And the fact is, many consumers are nervous about foreign tech firms. Just this year, Politico Europe conducted a poll across 6 countries in Western and Central Europe. It asked how people felt about tech companies from the US and China. 80% said they worry about privacy and the way companies handle their personal data. People love public spaces like this because they want to form connections. And trust is the basis of any connection. So the challenge for robotics firms is simple but also complicated. They have to get people to trust them. robot makers could highlight the data privacy laws in the European Union. They apply to all companies that handle Europeans' data, even if those companies are based outside Europe. But tech analyst Arthur Goldstuck says foreign firms don't need a massive public relations campaign. He thinks people will learn to trust robots as they use them more and more. It's a trend we've already seen with mobile phone brands, which build millions of handsets outside their own countries.
Most of those devices are actually manufactured in China, and people accept that a Chinese factory is producing a Samsung or an Apple phone, so already they are being almost required to trust the technology that's coming from the East. And a similar situation will emerge with regard to robots.
And if you think about it, the relationship between humans and robots is a bit like a dance. It only really works if we're moving to the same beat. Michael Marilia, CGTN, London.
Shares of Unitree Robotics skyrocketed on their Shanghai debut on Wednesday, closing 460% higher after soaring as much as 629% in early trading. Shares closed at 845 yuan the piece. The rally came after the Chinese robot maker raised nearly 6.1 billion yuan, or about $905 million in its IPO. And according to its prospectus, Unitree ranked first globally in humanoid robot sales last year, with more than 5,500 units sold. It also dominates the global market for four-legged robots. Unitree's investors include Chinese AI company DeepSeek and tech giant Tencent. The company becomes the highest high-profile name on the list on Shanghai's star market, following memory chip maker CXMT's listing last month. Global investors have been steadily increasing their exposure to Chinese tech assets through exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. As of Tuesday, asset management giant Invesco's China Technology ETF, which is traded on the U.S. stock market, reached over $3 billion. Now, that number is up more than 6% since the end of July. Another asset management heavyweight, BlackRock, saw its iShares MSCI China Technology ETF grow over 3% from late July. And in Tokyo, the global ex-China tech top 10 ETF, which tracks the top 10 Chinese technology firms, has jumped over 16% since early August. Analysts emphasized that this wave of capital flowing into Chinese tech firms is not a short-term momentum play, but a long-term thematic positioning strategy.
Many Chinese technology companies are showing better earnings trends while trading at valuation levels that remain well below many global technology peers. For global investors, that creates an attractive risk-reward profile. Investors increasingly recognize that China is not only a consumer of AI technology, but also a significant innovator across areas such as AI models, cloud infrastructure, semiconductors, and intelligent manufacturing. The underlying drivers, including AI adoption, industrial upgrading, and policy support for strategic technologies, are multi-year themes that could support sustained investor interest. We do see some global investors using China technology as a targeted satellite allocation within a broader global equity portfolio. The attraction is the potential for participation in long-term innovation themes while adding diversification to technology exposure that has become heavily concentrated in a handful of U.S. companies.
And you're watching Global Business on CGTN. Still to come on the program, the European Union is intensifying efforts to become a global leader in artificial intelligence with billions in pan investment. Let's take a look at some other business headlines we're tracking at the hour, and we start with the U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 3-day pause on a new 50% tariffs on Canada after talking with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on Tuesday. The suspended levies would hit some $20 billion worth of imports from Canada. The UK's inflation rate rose to 2.9% in July. That is up from 2.6% in June. British regulators approved a 13% rise in household energy price cap, and the new rates have come into force last month. And European Central Bank Chief Christine Lagarde said on Wednesday that the continent could not afford to miss out in an AI race with China and the US, especially when Europe's current growth model is under pressure. And as a follow-up on the ECB's Christine Lagarde's remarks on Europe's AI landscape, the European Union is now intensifying efforts to become a global leader in artificial intelligence. With billions in planned investment, the EU is trying to catch up with the United States and China. William Danslow reports.
Swarm robotics in action. Independent machines working together to achieve a common goal. The European Union has a similar objective. How 27 member states can best use their resources to become the first artificial intelligence continent.
We should ask ourselves the question of is it really important to be centralized or to be driven by strong innovators, or rather to have a fragmented ecosystem that allows for more creativity, but also that if one idea works somewhere we can replicate it, then it validates that idea.
Whatever the answer, the EU aims to provide the tools for Europe to unlock its potential. The blocs launched a call for tenders to generate more than $30 billion in investment to set up 7 AI gigafactories.
Europe wants to become the first AI continent, and because we will give our startups, SMEs, industry, researchers and public authorities the necessary infrastructure to build the most advanced AI models.
For the EU, this strategy is about being more competitive on the global stage. Roughly 80% of Europe's digital services and infrastructure currently comes from outside the bloc. The EU wants to change that and develop advanced AI on the continent that's in line with its own values. In 2024, former European Central Bank chief Mario Draghi released a report detailing how the EU can harness its economic potential to better compete in areas like tech on the world stage. But some researchers warn that 2 years on, only 30% of the recommendations have been implemented.
It's like a slow growth that's been occurring, but that has led to so many gaps and so many regulations that it's really hard to say that the report has, converted some actual momentum.
Europe is lagging in the AI race, and some analysts say it could benefit from focusing on other areas in the tech space.
If you take quantum, Europe has you could say not a first mover advantage, but a good chance to come ahead, because Europe has a lot of leading startups which are doing great. Europe also has a good comparative advantage and specialization capacity in quantums.
The EU recently launched its tech sovereignty package, a series of measures to strengthen its cloud computing, AI and semiconductor industries. In an increasingly fierce battle for dominance, Europe hopes these policy decisions will prove to be a quantum leap. William Denslow, CGTN, Brussels.
And switching gears, the Macau Special Administrative Region government has unveiled its third 5-year plan for 2026 to 2030, charting the next phase of the region's economic and social development. Officials and community leaders from Macau SAR say the third 5-year plan aligns with national development and charts a promising path for Macau. They say it serves not only as a guiding document for Macau's economic and social development, but also sets shared goals for communities and residents across the region.
The third 5-year plan is based on thorough research into new strategies, policies, priorities, and key projects outlined under the National 15th 5-year plan. It takes into account the local needs of Macau and Hengqin and leverages Macau's strengths and capacities to help meet national goals. This connection ensures that the third 5-year plan aligns closely with the National 15th 5-year plan. previous 5-year plans, this new plan demonstrates a broader strategic vision, more practical solutions, and a stronger capacity for implementation. It reflects the Macau SAR government's commitment and confidence in achieving high-quality development in this new era.
The alignment under institutional innovation is vital for the integrated development of Hengqin and Macau, a key lever for future growth, and also the hardest challenge to overcome. The Macau SAR government will spare no effort in advancing the high-quality development of the cooperation zone in its second phase, strengthen alignment with the existing plans and policy documents, and focus on key areas such as people's livelihood and industries. It will foster a high-quality rule of law environment and promote the alignment of rules in market access, factor mobility, standards, accreditation and certification, and industry regulation, thereby supporting the integrated development of Macau and Hengqin.
The third 5-year plan outlines a new development strategy for Macau and provides clearer pathways for the city's young people. It focuses on helping youth grow and succeed. What young talent needs most are opportunities and platforms to thrive. We believe that Macau's youth will find more opportunities to advance in fields such as technology, digital economy, culture, tourism, and exhibitions. Meanwhile, Hengqin offers even broader avenues for youth development. We need to take proactive steps to integrate into and contribute to national development strategies, leveraging the strengths of one country, two systems in Macau alongside Hengqin's unique advantages. This will enable us to pursue our goals and chase our dreams in the Greater Bay Area.
And this Tuesday also marked the 6th anniversary of the opening of the new Hengqin port, which connects Macau and the mainland city of Zhuhai. Over the past 6 years, Hengqin port has become one of the busiest ports in the Greater Bay Area, handling over 110 million passenger crossings and more than 13 million vehicle crossings, with annual traffic growing at an average of over 30%. In the past year, the port upgraded its digital check-in system and now allowing all travelers and vehicles to pass through using just fingerprint scans or facial recognition, significantly cutting travel times. And with Macau's third 5-year plan for economic and social development officially unveiled on Tuesday, local entrepreneurs are optimistic that the document's emphasis on economic diversification and deeper integration with the Chinese mainland will create substantial new opportunities for the city's entrepreneurs and scale their signature industries across the border.
期待，然后呢，就是把握。
Expectation, seizing the opportunities, and making effort, that's the first reaction when I saw the document. I believe the central government has a long-term vision. Its consistent implementation of multiple 5-year plans proves their long-term effectiveness. As a trader from Macau, I have attended many trade fairs in the Chinese mainland, and I have keenly felt that mainland consumers hold a highly positive and trusting attitude toward the Macau brand. This is our opportunity to expand into the mainland market. In the meantime, we also face many challenges. Expanding into the mainland market comes with high costs and fierce competition. I believe Macau enterprises should steer clear of the low-price involution rat race and instead leverage the positive image of the Macau brand and our professional service capabilities to cultivate the mid to high-end market. I also hope the government can offer more direct support policies on taxation and logistics.
And for decades, businesses have leveraged Macau's international ties and mainland resources. And now this model is entering a new phase, with neighboring Zhuhai playing an increasingly vital role in Macau's development. Huang Fei reports.
It started as a small experiment in craft brewing nearly 3 decades ago. Now, these bottles carry an iconic name in Asia's beverage industry.
Macau beer was first introduced by an American individual, a young person from the U.S. He started his garage factory, a little brewery in Koloan Island in 1996. And at that time, craft beer was something very new to Asia.
Over the years, this small garage brewery has changed hands several times. Today, it's a highly automated, eco-friendly factory in Zhuhai, just 30 minutes from the Macau border. Charles Choi's family became port owners in 2018, a year before Beijing introduced the Greater Bay Area Initiative. linking Hong Kong and Macau with 9 cities in Guangdong to form an integrated economic hub.
The Greater Bay Area concept, it's not new, because we have been doing that for many years. In 2003, the gaming concessions were open, large flow of capital coming into Macau to do more high-end business on hotels and integrated resorts. We had the need to move our brewery to a place where we could have larger space and get our workforce easier, which is Zhuhai.
Zhuhai offered another critical advantage, an exclusive source of natural mineral water, ideal for making beer.
We have our global procurement system, which can sort of weather out a lot of this supply and also pricing problem.
Globalization runs deep in Zhuhai's history. As one of China's first 4 special economic zones, it has welcomed foreign investment for over 4 decades.
Well, Zhuhai has always been a front runner in China's reform and opening up policy. In fact, late Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping highlighted this during his first visit to the city and to the Zhuhai beer factory in 1984. Today, business ties between Zhuhai and Macau are increasing, with manufacturing, technologies, and services industries all benefiting from closer cross-border integration.
Macau is not only the free port and separate customs tariff, and also we are designated by the central government as the platform between China and Portuguese-speaking countries, nearly 300 million population, which is a huge market.
Under Macau's third 5-year plan, the city aims to raise the share of non-gaming sectors to approximately 60% of GDP by 2030. As Macau presses ahead with economic diversification, Zhuhai and the Hengqin Cooperation Zone are taking on an increasingly important role by bringing together Macau's international strengths with resources and opportunities across the border. The partnership is creating new avenues for growth and development. Huang Wei, CGTN, Zhuhai, Guangdong Province.
And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Global Business on CGTN. I'm Lily in Beijing. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.